Hi everyone, welcome to Bad Weather Barbecue. I'm Johnny and today we're doing amazing backyard barbecue pizzas. Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. This is a channel where we talk all things barbecue. Today, however, we're taking just a little bit of a detour into one of my other favorite foods, which is pizza. I've been looking forward to doing this video for some time now as it showcases two of my favorite types of food, that is pizza and barbecue. Before we go any further into the video, however, I just want to get this out the way really early on. We're not actually going to be cooking on a barbecue. We're going to be cooking on one of these. This is our Ooni Fire 12 and it's fueled by the same hardwood pellets that we use in our Traeger smoker. The reason that I'm using the Ooni today is that it just gives some fantastic results. It's got a stone at the bottom of it, and as I say, it's fueled by those same hardwood Traeger pellets, so you get a really nice kind of smoke off that. The other reason is that the Ooni burns really hot. So when up to temperature, it's at roughly around 400 degrees Celsius. The reason that that's important is twofold. The first is that you can cook your pizzas in about a minute. And the second one is you get a lovely crispy base, which comes from the combination of the heat and that stone at the bottom of the Ooni oven as well. But Johnny, I hear you say, you can get pizza stones for barbecue, so why don't you use one of them? Well, yes, you can. And as you'll see on your screen at the moment, I actually own one. This is the Weber version for the gourmet barbecue system. In my experience, what I found is it's really difficult to get these up to temperature. And I've certainly never had the Weber one up as hot as I have the Ooni version. And what that means is that pizzas just take longer to cook. So the last one I did on the Weber took about 20 minutes versus the minute that it takes on the Ooni. So with that out of the way, let's have a little chat about what we're going to be doing in this video. So this video will be the first of two. I'm going to break this up. In this video, what we're going to be looking at is some amazing beer dough that you can make yourselves. And in the second segment, what we're going to be looking at is what sort of barbecue flavors can we infuse with our pizzas to give you those awesome backyard barbecue pizzas. Right, with all that said, let's get into the kitchen and get going with our beer dough. As ever, however, stick around to the end of the video and I'll give you my 3 top tips for making the beer dough an absolute success. 4 ingredients, super simple, and this gives you a super tasty, light, and really pliable pizza dough base to work with. So let's have a look at the ingredients. We've got 400 grams of strong bread flour here, and what I've done is I've just put a pinch of salt in that. I've then got 100 grams of plain flour. I've got 3.5 grams of dried yeast, and then I've got 300 mils of beer. In terms of the beer that you can use, you can really choose whatever you want. I've traditionally used something like Budweiser, but today I'm actually going to be using a local beer. So I'm going to be using the Ossian, which is made by Inveralmond Brewery, which is about 20 minutes up the road from me in Perth. These ingredients are enough to make 3 250 gram pizza dough bases. So 250 grams is kind of recommended for around a 12-inch pizza. So we're now going to put all of our ingredients together. And the key here is you have to knead this for 10 minutes. Now, if like me, you couldn't think of anything worse, then go and get yourself one of these. So this is an orbital style mixer. This is the Kenwood K-Mix that I've borrowed off my sister-in-law, and I've got the dough hook attached to it. So what we'll do is we'll put it all together and then we'll get it going in the K-Mix for about 10 minutes. Right, so that's been 10 minutes now, and as you can see, it's all done. So what we're going to do now is we're going to pop a wet towel over the top of it, And we're going to let this bench rest for between about 3 to 5 hours. Right, for the bakers out there, there's no desired dough temperature for this recipe. However, one quick recommendation that I would make is don't chill your beer down, just have it at room temperature. Right, so that's been about 5 hours now that we've let the dough bench rest. So it's time to have a little look at what to do next. Now, what I have done is I have enlisted somebody else to help with this bit, someone who's a little bit more patient than I am when it comes to rolling out pizza dough. So let's have a look. What you'll be seeing on your screen at the moment is the process of knocking back, which I've asked the good lady to help me out with. This is really simple and it's done straight after the first rise. By knocking back the dough, the large air bubbles are removed, and this really helps us to keep an even texture within the dough. After knocking back, we move into the dividing stage. So you can see a pizza cutter being used here to help us divide up the dough. And as I mentioned earlier, our target weight here is 250 grams per portion. The last piece of this part of the process is to shape our dough. So that's where we're kind of tucking it back under itself to form this kind of dome shape and just hitting it with a little bit of plain flour on the top. Right, so the next part of the process is to actually form our pizza bases. Now, the way that we do this, as you'll see on the screen, is to push from the middle part out and keep turning it. You can, if you want to, use a rolling pin, and I have done this in the past. The difference here is that if you use a rolling pin, you're really rolling all of the air out of the dough balls, and that's not really what we want to do. We want to have some pizzas that have got those lovely air pockets, you know, that come up during the cooking process. To make it sort of super light. And this is the process for ensuring that that still happens. After you've been pushing out for a couple of minutes, it's time to let gravity help you out a little bit. And as you'll see on the screen here, this is just a case of stretching out the dough that little bit further. In pizza restaurants, you'll see pizza chefs, throwing it up in the air. That's exactly this part of the process. So again, you can see the stretching happening here. But again, we only need to go to 12 inches here. So we only need to do a little bit of this. Once you've done stretching, it's just a case of putting it back onto your work surface and just doing those final finishing touches. It is worth noting that at this stage, depending on how quickly you get that onto the paddle and into the oven, you might find that the dough might tighten up again. If it does, that's absolutely fine. Just follow the same process that you're seeing on the screen here. Just to push it back to the shape you need. So there you have it, amazingly formed beer dough ready for our pizzas. So what we'll do is we'll look at them in, wait, what? You need to at least see one pizza being made in this video, but that's what I'm going to do in part 2. But you want to see one now? Oh, all right, fine, then I'll do one. So what you'll see just now on your screen is me pulling together the first of our Backyard BBQ Pizzas. This is the pulled pork, pomegranate and garlic aioli pizza. And what you can see is the amazing puff that we've got there on the crust of our pizza, which I was really, really happy with. How did it taste? Well, Johnny, over to you. So here we go. Here is our finished pizza. And I have to say, I'm really, really pleased with this. What I've done is I cooked it with the pork on, and then what I've done is I've dressed it with the pomegranate and then with the garlic aioli afterwards. So I know I don't normally do this, but let's do it. All right, let's have a bite and let's see. So I can already tell that it's a really crispy base, so chuff with that. So great flavor, great crispiness out the base. The pork's amazing, really smoky flavors coming out of that, but sweetness from the pomegranate and then that garlic aioli as well really, really complements the dish. So for me, this is a big, big win. So there you have it, the first of our Backyard BBQ Pizzas in all its glory. I have to say, I'm really, really pleased with how the dough came out. You can, of course, buy it pre-rolled from the shops and it's okay. But actually, if you have some time, take that time and put together this dough. It will absolutely be worth it, trust me. So earlier in the video, I said to stick around to the end where I'll give you my 3 top tips for making this dough an absolute success. So here we go. First, whilst I did say in the video that you would leave this to bench rest and prove for about 3 to 5 hours, actually, if you have more time, then let it go. It'll just rise up more and it just gives you that sort of lighter, more airy kind of texture when it comes to baking it. Number 2, don't be afraid to experiment with different types of beer. As I've said, I've used Budweiser in the past, I use Ossian in this one. You'll have different tastes to me. So depending on what those tastes are, go and try some of that. Number 3, make sure your uni is up to temp before you put your pizza on. Reason for this is you want the bottom of that base to be super crispy. So we need it at around the 400 degrees mark. So make sure it's there or thereabout before you put your pizza on. So there you have it. That is the first of our 3 backyard barbecue pizzas that I'm going to be doing. The second 2 will come in part 2, and that one's going to be a fast follower. So make sure you've got that bell button hit for any future notifications on the channel. So I hope you liked that video, everybody. If you did, please hit that like button. It really, really does help the channel to grow. So I hope you liked that video. You guys look after yourselves, and I'll see you very, very soon in the next part.